Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT, and tonight it is the go-home show for NXT as we inch closer and closer to the Great American Bash that will be occurring here very, very soon this week, coming up on Saturday. And for Cesaro, he's 0-1 so far, returning here in NXT, but aligning himself with the Blackpool Combat Club, definitely could see Cesaro get some championships in the near future. But for Cesaro, it's all about just picking up some wins and certainly having a strong showing tonight against Adam Cole, who is a former NXT champion, former WWE champion, Mr. Royal Rumble winner, and then a winner at WrestleMania, and winning that WWE championship away from Johnny Gargano at that time. We all saw last week that heinous assault from Adam Cole, ladies and gentlemen. It was just so unfortunate. You know, Kenny Omega picked up a big win over Chris Jericho, and Adam Cole comes out, you know, basically saying, "Hey, I'm not waiting until Great American Bash. I want an answer now." Well, and Kenny Omega said, "Hey, you know what? I want myself and the Young Bucks to get some more time underneath our belt here, and then we can talk about it one more time." And Adam Cole said, "You know what? It's either you're with me or you're against me." And he said that, "You know what? I might regret this later on, but I'm not going to regret it now." And that's when he would systematically just beat the living crap out of Kenny Omega inside the ring and outside the ring. So it's just one of those things that I want to say that I wouldn't expect it, but Adam Cole's the type of man that, ever since joining NXT when he first came to WWE, and then when he got drafted over there to SmackDown and everything that transpired for Adam Cole, like I mentioned, you'd think that he wouldn't stoop that low, but he continued to even get worse. He took down his Undisputed Era buddies, and now he's taken down a good friend of his. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this is going to all plan out for Adam Cole and Kenny Omega. But Adam Cole has to worry about Cesaro tonight here of the Blackpool Combat Club. Referee rings the bell. Here we go. Let's see how Adam Cole fares against Cesaro. And now, look at Adam Cole. Early submission hold here. Could you imagine if Cesaro taps out here this early in the matchup? Ooh, brutal knees to the temple. Could have ourselves an early knockout if he takes too many of those. But when Cesaro returned, he would go on to take on Christian and would end up losing to Christian. And that's when kind of Christian's saying, "Hey, I deserve my rematch." And John Moxley said he's perfectly fine with giving him his rematch, and it's happened at the Great American Bash, which is happening this Saturday. A lot of big marquee matches are on the template coming up this Saturday. Anything from MJF taking on Keith Lee. We got Samoa Joe and Sting. It's going to be one hard-hitting matchup there, including the Elite versus the Young Bucks. The Revival at one time were supposed to take on Hit Row, but decided to attack the Hit Row backstage, so we never got that matchup, which is very unfortunate. Plus, we got CM Punk versus Chris Jericho, NXT Championship matchup. The battle of the best in the world between both men. Certainly, they think very highly of themselves, and we gotta have a winner, gotta have a loser. Another matchup I'm really looking forward to is having that big-time championship matchup, tag team championship matchup, the Blackpool Combat Club's John Moxley and Bryan Danielson taking on the Creed brothers. When they first faced off, it was a hell of a tag team matchup, and we'll certainly have to see how it fares coming up this Saturday live at the Great American Bash pay-per-view, where it's going to be another sold-out capacity crowd for the NXT roster. It's a big kick to the middle of that back, and imagine how that's going to feel for Adam Cole tonight if he loses to Cesaro after that big statement that he made last week here on NXT to Kenny Omega. I personally would have liked Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Adam Cole, but, you know, Kenny Omega is rightfully in his own right able to, if he wants to wait, he's more than welcome to wait. He doesn't have to necessarily saying, oh, hey, I'm going to make a brash decision, even though we're kind of relatively new to the roster. I'm going to go ahead and join up with Adam Cole. No, he wants to get himself situated, get himself and the Young Bucks situated, and Adam Cole didn't want to wait any longer. It's a big power bomb slam there from Cesaro, looking very impressive to open up NXT so far here tonight. Pinfall. Will this be enough? But a strong kick out there from Adam Cole. But tonight should be a night of big time with the new additions. We'll talk about it here momentarily, as we could have a submission hold tap out here. Cesaro right there, referee right there. Can't really tell and now we get a better camera angle here. Adam Cole, he could tap out center of this ring. Referee making sure if he decides to tap out or pass out. But Adam Cole able to slip out of it. Perfect timing, and a little bit of a cheap shot to Cesaro. But like I was trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is Adam Cole with a big super kick there to Cesaro. But we're supposed to have the debuts of TIffany Stratton, as well as the Pretty Deadly in the house tonight as a Shining Wizard from Adam Cole. 1, 2. No, Cesaro kicks out. But yes, Pretty Deadly and TIffany Stratton are in the building tonight. We hear from Pretty Deadly addressing the tag team division, and TIffany Stratton will be here tonight addressing the women's division. So it's going to be very interesting. So I definitely see plenty of potential between Pretty Deadly and TIffany Stratton. The tag team division, the women's division, certainly definitely needed these additions. As Cesaro going for an elbow. Didn't even need to go for the elbow. Springboard missile dropkick takes down Cesaro. It looks like Adam Cole wants to finish this matchup here. Big kick to the face there. And now Adam Cole, big drop kick to the temple. Both of these guys have been hitting hard-hitting maneuvers. It just has not been enough just yet. The question is for both men, what else do they necessarily have to do? We saw this before. Adam Cole, Panama Sunrise from Adam Cole. Will Adam Cole be able to pick up a win? Yes, he does. Adam Cole with a win over Cesaro here tonight. It was a tough, hard-hitting match, but Adam Cole showing you why. He's a former NXT champion, former WWE champion, former Royal Rumble winner, former WrestleMania winner as well. Adam Cole leaving off right where he was on SmackDown, being the best of the best here live on NXT. On to our next matchup is the big 6-man tag team matchup, ladies and gentlemen, as we see Rusev, Christian, and MJF team up to take on the team of Blackpool Combat Club and Keith Lee. And there is MJF, very talented young superstar, where he'll be taking on Keith Lee this Saturday. This all came about a couple weeks ago when Keith Lee and MJF would go one-on-one in singles action. Keith Lee would go on to defeat MJF in a good back and forth matchup, and MJF didn't take that, didn't like that, didn't believe he should lose to someone the status of Keith Lee, a man that shouldn't be to his level according to MJF. And MJF would attack Keith Lee backstage in the parking lot area, where it seemed like Keith Lee was getting ready to leave for the day, but MJF beat the living crap out of him. And Keith Lee, he's the type of man to not hold any grudges, but this is the type of thing where MJF has to be very careful coming out after a guy like Keith Lee. Certainly not a man you want to mess with, a big man like that. So strong and powerful, but now there he is, your new United Kingdom heavyweight champion, ladies and gentlemen. The man that cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase to end NXT last Wednesday. It was Braun Breaker versus Grayson Waller. The match that was supposed to happen this Saturday, it got moved up to last Wednesday's NXT. Braun Breaker was able to outlast Grayson Waller. Rusev caught up to the general manager, Bret the Hitman Hart, and talked to him, said, hey, you know what? Instead of Braun Breaker going back and forth on Raw and NXT, I want that championship right there that's in his hands to stay here on NXT. So I'm going to cash in my briefcase and cash it in on Braun Breaker. And Bret the Hitman Hart said, you know what? If that's what you feel like doing, Rusev, go ahead and do it. Make me proud. So we'd see a matchup between Braun Breaker and Rusev. Went back and forth there. Braun Breaker had times where it looked like he was going to win the matchup. Rusev was able to dig down deep and knock off Braun Breaker. And there he is, your United Kingdom champion, Rusev. And I do got some news for you guys there at the Great American Bash. Rusev will have a United Kingdom World Heavyweight celebration. And that's big breaking news there. We're going to get a big celebration ceremony for Rusev. And now here comes Christian down to the ring. Christian is looking to become North American champion once again. He knocked off Jon Moxley, became champion for a little bit. Moxley would go on to defeat Christian at the pay-per-view. And we wouldn't see Christian for a little bit, but then recently would come back a couple weeks ago. And, well, we're going to get ourselves a rematch. It's going to be coming up there at NXT TakeOver Great American Bash. The man that's worked everyone, Christian. And more than likely, Rusev will be by his side to help out Jon Moxley to the best of his abilities. But sure as heck going to be one heck of a pay-per-view, ladies and gentlemen. Christian versus Jon Moxley. And Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson taking on the Creed brothers for the NXT Tag Team Championships. It's going to be one heck of a night at the Great American Bash. A little bit of everything. You're going to see some technical wrestling, some wrestling that you might not expect from certain superstars. Best in the world tag teams going at it. Best in the world NXT superstars going at it in the main event. Veterans, up-and-comers, you're going to see all of it coming up. As now, there is the NXT Tag Team Champions and Mr. North American Champion, the Blackpool Combat Club's Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson. And I think Bryan has both of the championships. Maybe it's underneath it, maybe not, but it seems like maybe Moxley just wants to carry out that North American Championship to maybe rub it in the face of Christian. And, you know, if I'm the Creed brothers, I'm definitely watching this matchup because, you know, depending of the order of the NXT TakeOver pay-per-view, there's a possibility that, you know, it could be back-to-back where Moxley goes to a matchup for the Tag Team Championships, then the next matchup is against Christian, or vice versa. So, I mean, I don't think Bret the Hitman Hart would be that cool, but for Jon Moxley, I certainly think he could put himself through that hell if he really had to. But it's certainly gonna be a hell of a night for Jon Moxley. But I think we're gonna see a lot of good things coming out of NXT TakeOver Great American Bash. And now it is time to bask in his glory. It is time for Keith Lee to make his way down to the ring. This man has had a good career, no championships just yet, but he's going to have his time. He's going to have his moment. He's going to take some time, get himself a good situation no matter what brand he is on, and he's certainly going to take it to the limit, and we are certainly going to be basking in his glory, certainly very, very soon, I believe. This man can go toe-to-toe with the likes of any cruiserweight, any lucha libre superstar, any world heavyweight champion contender, tall, small, it doesn't matter. Keith Lee can handle it all. And he's wrestled with the best of the best, with the likes of Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and so many other big-time superstars there, and even the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar. Yes, Brock did beat Keith Lee at that time, but certainly it was a hoss fight. So you can't say Keith Lee hasn't been in adversity in certain matches or hasn't had to deal with those big-time fights, because certainly Keith Lee has. MJF has only had a handful, so we'll see how MJF will do when he has to handle Keith Lee coming up this Saturday. Before rings the bell, we got MJF and Jon Moxley kicking us off here. And certainly for, MJF and Keith Lee, big-time top contenders here in the NXT Championship division. We'll see how everything fares coming up after that matchup, as well as the NXT Championship matchup. There's a lot of big names that want to get in that championship picture. MJF had his opportunity. CM Punk defeated him. And now CM Punk has to go off against Chris Jericho. How is that going to fare? Chris Jericho, he hasn't done the best these last couple of weeks necessarily, but, before that, he was actually doing quite well. So it's one of those things where, you're going to have a winning streak and then, you lose a couple. So it's one of those things, you got the two best in the world's going at it, having the wrong time for a losing streak to come by, but, that's what happens. You got to have winners, you got to have losers, unfortunately. It's a big-time suplex there from Moxley early on here to MJF. For MJF, you don't want to take too much damage early on, especially with that. I mean, none of the superstars honestly do with their big-time matches coming up. Rusev doesn't necessarily have to worry about it. Obviously, for Rusev, he wants to be, 100% because he's going to have a United Kingdom Championship celebration coming up this Saturday. So certainly, he wants to be perfectly fine and show off and showboat with that championship. And for MJF right now, he's in the ring with Bryan Danielson, the man that broke the streak, his undefeated streak that he had here in NXT. Because before Bryan Danielson defeated that, MJF was rolling. He was doing quite well. Yes, he lost to, he would go on to lose to CM Punk for that NXT championship. So I think it's kind of the downfall of MJF early on after CM Punk did help Bryan Danielson win that, but a win is a win in that book. So for MJF, he's going to have to dig down deep and kind of figure out what he wants to do, or how he can deal with the likes of these big-time superstars and not get all pissed off when a man like the caliber of a Keith Lee, as we got two big men, Keith Lee and Rusev, going at it right now. Both men just colliding into each other. It's like two freight trains going at it. And if you're MJF, you got to think of different scenarios you got to deal with Keith Lee, because I think Keith Lee, if I remember correctly, it was a back and forth early on, but Keith Lee towards the end, he was just throwing around MJF, and the power game came into play, and MJF could just not figure him out. But it's going to be one of those things at the pay-per-view. We'll see how it all comes about. We all know how cocky, confident MJF is. He's got the look, he's got the promo skills, he's just got to put everything together. And for him, almost became the youngest NXT World Champion, but was unable to knock off CM Punk. Let's now look at Christian wrenching in right there in the lower back. Your back does not want to be in that position whatsoever, especially for a big man. And now, Rusev and Keith Lee gonna go at it. This is not good as a big scoop slam there to Rusev. And see, Christian, he was taking his time there. He didn't need to go after Keith Lee. Christian's been around this business for a very long time. Probably could smell a setup of some sort as a flatliner takes down Christian. Still to come tonight, we got Roxanne, the woman that will be challenging Cora Jade for the NXT Women's Championship. Will be in action later on tonight against Xia Li. Should be a good competitive matchup there. As now Keith Lee gets a tag to Bryan Danielson. And the Blackpool Combat Club and the team of Christian and Rusev are no shy to each other. A little bit of a rivalry between all four. Obviously Blackpool Combat Club, and I should just say both teams, honestly. But certainly both teams know each other quite well, with a little bit of a brewing rivalry over the coming months and everything like that, and especially right now with that North American Championship. Something's got to give this Saturday. Will it be Moxley? Will it be Christian? It's like a Christian with a big clothesline takes down Bryan Danielson. And Christian, big punch there, a little bit of a cheap shot, but Moxley gets his cheap shot back. Oh no, I think we're going to have an all-out war here. Moxley, Christian locking up here at ringside. Big haymakers. Here comes Christian. Big time scoop slam. Bryan takes down Rusev. All sorts of hell going back and forth between both tag teams here at this very moment. And now Bryan and Keith Lee going to work together here. Double Arm drag into a double kick there. And now Keith Lee going to look to put on the final touches of this match. Pinfall opportunity. Will this be enough? No, not just yet. And also a big-time main event that was announced is going to be CM Punk, our NXT champion, will be taking on Wardlow, a member of the Blackpool Combat Club. It's a big jackhammer type of maneuver there from Keith Lee. Is that it? No. MJF breaking it up there. And Keith Lee not too happy about it. Happens to be MJF. And now Keith Lee wants his revenge. And now what does Keith Lee got to do now? I mean, yes, MJF broke it up, but look like maybe he's going to try to get a tag there. Bryan helping out Keith Lee as much as he can. Uh-oh. Oh, wait a minute. Christian, looking to steal it. Can he steal victory here? No, strong kick up from Keith Lee. Able to roll through and almost steal a victory there. Here comes Rusev, the United Kingdom heavyweight champion, and he just rolls through Keith Lee. What is the future of the United Kingdom Championship division gonna be looking like, ladies and gentlemen, as Rusev with a stunner to Bryan Danielson, Moxley getting tagged into the ring, and now Rusev with a big takedown there of the North American champion. Certainly be interesting what the championship celebration will be looking like for Rusev. And like I mentioned, coming up after the Great American Bash, who's going to want to step up to the plate and face a Bulgarian brute like Rusev? It's going to be, the future's going to be very interesting for everyone in general, especially everyone walking out with the championships. But I'm very interested to see how the era of Braun Breaker, Grayson Waller being gone, Carmelo Hayes being gone now, Tyler Bate moving on as well to Monday Night Raw, that big 4-for-4 trade that we saw between Raw and NXT. So it's certainly going to bring a lot of star power, little changes. Everyone's going to have to get used to each other. It's always good to be kept on your feet to an extent. Because now MJF going to get a tag to the North American champion. And certainly Christian would love to bring down Jon Moxley just a couple days before their big-time North American Championship match. Uh-oh, Christian. Oh, I think he's looking for the unprettier possibly with Moxley. Had it well scouted. He felt it. He felt Christian was on him. And now Moxley gonna look at the final touches of this matchup. The paradigm shift to Christian. Is this it? 1, 2, 3, yes it is. The Blackpool Combat Club and Keith Lee pick up a massive win tonight. Certainly could have been your main event, but not tonight. On a back and forth between both teams. But Jon Moxley sends a message to Christian as they go toe-to-toe in just a couple days time when they go to the Great American Bash to fight for that NXT North American Championship. Look at that paradigm shift, dropping him right on his neck, and that 1, 2, 3. How do you think Moxley fares in that championship match, as well as that tag team championship matchup? It would be very interesting to see. Will all three of these superstars be walking out with victories coming up this Saturday? We will have to wait and find out, but a massive win for all three of these men. Welcome to NXT, they say. They say they have the most beautiful people in NXT, they say. But we arrive and everything looks sad, looks droopy, especially this tag team division. But us, Pretty Deadly, are here to reshape this NXT tag team division, one step at a time. Now my name is Kit Wilson, and my yes boy right next to me is Elton Prince. And you'll be seeing a lot of us over the coming weeks and months, especially more after the Great American Bash. And when we talk after the Great American Bash, our future is going to be with those NXT Tag Team Championships around our waist one way or another. Now I'm going to name a couple tag teams, and then we're going to let you know how we feel about them. The Revival, no boy. The Young Bucks, no boy. Blackpool Combat Club, no boy. Indus Sheer, no boy. The Creed Brothers, no boy. Any of the tag teams here on NXT, no boy. But us, the most beautiful, the most powerful men in all of NXT's tag team division. Yes, boy. Yes, boy. Yes, boy. Yes, boy. And we are going to yes, boy our way to those NXT tag team championships. Now, if you excuse us, we got some business to handle. And we are back after just hearing from Pretty Dudley's Kit Wilson and Elton Prince. Very interesting to see how their views on the NXT tag team division are, as what they say, the no boy, and for them, yes boy. So we'll see how they fare in the near future, as I'm sure they'll be challenging these other tag teams to make a name for themselves here in the very near future. But we got Xia Li making their way down to the ring. She'll be taking on Roxanne Perez. And for this matchup, Roxanne Perez certainly wants to pick up a win before her big-time championship matchup against her tag team partner, Cora Jade. Cora Jade was allowing Roxanne Perez to be the first one to challenge Cora for her NXT championship after Cora Jade became the NXT Women's Champion after the Women's Championship was vacated, since Emma could not make it. She's having some issues once again. But Emma will be back whenever she can, but running into all sorts of issues, unfortunately. But we'll see if Emma can get back here anytime soon. But got two women's matches tonight with the Roxanne and Xia Li matchup here, as well as we're going to see a preview of the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships, as we're going to see some good old-fashioned Nikita Lyons, one half of the Women's Tag Team Champions. She'll be in action taking on one half of the number one contenders of Toxic Attraction. If I'm remembering correctly, it should be JC Jane later on, coming up here next, live here on NXT. Yep, JC Jane and Nikita Lyons, that should be a pretty good matchup, honestly. A little taste of what's coming our way. And certainly a big-time main event will be coming our way with CM Punk versus Wardlow in a non-title match. Be very curious to see how everything's going to be faring heading into the Great American Bash pay-per-view. As Xia Li and Roxanne seem like they're both ready. Referee's ready. Referee ringing the bell. Here we go. Big-time matchup for Roxanne. She's going to have to defeat the up-and-comer Xia Li. Going to make a name for herself. And imagine if Xia Li can knock off Roxanne Perez tonight. Maybe Xia Li could climb in front of everybody else and become next in line for the championship if Roxanne's able to knock off. Or if Xia Li's able to knock off Roxanne tonight. And Xia Li's coming right out of the gate, right after Roxanne, not giving her any time to focus, to get anything going. Maybe that's what a lot of challengers have to do when you face a woman like Roxanne, to keep her off guard, to keep her on her toes. And with Roxanne and Cora Jade being tag team partners, both of those women know each other very well. And we've already got a brief matchup between both women for the NXT Women's Championship. And this time around, both women are going to have each other well scouted. So you're going to see a lot of back and forth. A lot of these women are going to be able to reverse and counter and kind of predict what their opponent's going to be doing. So that certainly makes the matchup a lot better, because you're going to have to come up with a different game plan, different strategy, and see what your opponent struggles with, and what's the strengths, the weaknesses, what they can work on the better type of thing. And Xia Li going to look to put on the final touches here. Hook of the leg here on Roxanne, but a strong kick out there from Roxanne Perez. Coming up still, we got the another women's matchup like we mentioned. We got JC Jane taking on Nikita Lyons. A little preview of the NXT Tag Team Championships that happened this Saturday. And also, the main event, Wardlow, member of the Blackpool Combat Club, she'll be taking on the NXT Champion CM Punk. So Wardlow and CM Punk are definitely be a hard-hitting matchup, and for Punk, it's going to be a matchup where he's going to have to definitely try and walk out unscathed because if he's able to survive Wardlow and not be hurt, it'd be very, very surprising. With just how dangerous Wardlow can be in a good way, just how he's able to throw his opponent around. Pinfall, hook of the leg, 2, 3. Roxanne picked up the win. And that impressive DDT, almost like a little shades of execution there from Roxanne. Right here, little beautiful DDT spiking her right on her face. And it was all she wrote to put away Xia Li. And Roxanne definitely needed that win heading in to that matchup against Cora Jade this Saturday. Roxanne, Cora Jade NXT Women's Championship. Who do you guys got? Tag team partners collide. Will there be a bunch of tension, or will it go down fairly? My name is TIffany Stratton, one of the most athletic, the most beautiful women here on this NXT roster. And it won't be long before I have that NXT Women's Championship around my waist. I'll be watching very closely that result between Roxanne and Cora Jade coming up this Saturday. None of these women on this roster can touch me. Yeah, I haven't had my match, but I am very confident. There's veterans on this roster, and there's wannabe wrestlers on this roster. None of these women can touch me from top to bottom. That's why I'm going to be the most gifted wrestler on this NXT Women's roster. You can call me cocky, you can call me brash, whatever you want to call it, but as long as I'm picking W's and I'm cashing those checks so I can get those Louis Vuitton bags, those Gucci bags, and whatever I want, it doesn't matter what you guys think I am, because sooner rather than later you're looking at the next women's champion. So Cora Jade, Roxanne, you better watch out for me. Time to get a little toxic here tonight on NXT. Got JC Jane in action, and she'll be taking on Nikita Lyons. In this matchup, we'll get a little taste of what's coming our way. Mandy Rose will not be here tonight, but she'll definitely be there to support their women. These women, I should say. JC Jane and Gigi Dolan, that will be challenging for those NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Can Toxic Attraction become NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, or will it be continued to be run by the current NXT Tag Team Champions, that being the team of Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark? Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark have been pretty good as Tag Team Champions, but we know Gigi Dolan and JC Jane are very, I guess you could say, toxic when it comes to the in-ring wrestling, but both teams are very talented, and I don't know if I necessarily know who's going to be walking out with the tag team championship. There's always a championship advantage in a normal tag team matchup, but if Mandy Rose is for sure going to be in the corner of Toxic Attraction this Saturday at Great American Bash, certainly you got to give it to them. But anything could happen. As now here comes Nikita Lyons, one half of the women's tag team champions. Her big time leg drop, or split-legged moonsault, whatever you want to call it, split, I guess you could really call it, whatever it is, very, very effective. And I think Nikita Lyons, Zoe Stark is, yeah, you might call them a makeshift tag team, but certainly it's worked well to where they've became the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. I'm assuming Zoe Stark may be coming out by herself. I'm assuming normally they come out together, but right now it seems like they will be coming out one by one, maybe. Guess we'll be finding out momentarily, but I'm really looking for these women's tag team matches, man. It's going to be really, really good. The NXT Women's division starting to creep up, kind of certainly trying to figure themselves out. No, it looks like Nikita Lyons will be out here by herself. I don't know what's up with that. We'll see maybe if we can get word on why Zoe Stark's not out here, but seems like that will definitely give Toxic Attraction the numbers game advantage. So We know how, a lot of my matches that we've seen here in WWE, if you got a manager and the other opponent doesn't, you're certainly going to have the advantage. The numbers game is going to come to a head. It's just about trying not to pay attention to that manager or the other tag team wrestler to where they get involved in the matchup, because it always seems like, when you're able to get a bunch of momentum to where, you might be able to put away your opponent, their manager, whoever it is, the other person gets involved in the matchup. But we'll see how Nikita Lyons can fare tonight. I mean, she's an adult woman. She can certainly deal with her own situations, but having to do with a two-on situation right now certainly will be very interesting to see how she deals with him. That's what I'm talking about. Gigi Dolan getting involved here. JC Jane trying to kind of dazed and confused right now. Nikita Lyons and Gigi Dolan talking some trash back and forth. I think JC Jane was more out of it than normal, honestly. I think that headshot kind of dazed her, honestly. Certainly didn't go in the favor there of Gigi Dolan. As look at these big clubbing blows from Nikita Lyons. Not playing around when it comes to toxic attraction here. And brutal maneuver there from Nikita Lyons, working on that head and neck area. Who do you guys think has the advantage? I certainly am going to give it to the challenger. I should say. I think Toxic Attraction very well could walk out with the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Ooh, big splash there from JC Jane. Gigi Dolan throwing in a steel chair there. Referee honestly throwing it right at Gigi Dolan, saying, hey, we don't want this. Off the ropes we go. Down goes JC Jane into a big elbow to the face, and now we're going to play her imaginary guitar. Why not? But she eats a drop kick, though, for taking way too long. But Nikita not gonna get a little bit of mind games going back and forth, but I was gonna say she wasn't gonna let her breathe whatsoever, but certainly both of them just gonna go back and forth. Oh, beautiful power slam. Able to pick up Nikita Lyons like it's easy and making it just so powerful there. Referee Nikita Lyons running into each other. I don't know who that's going to help out in this situation. It seems like it's going to help out JC Jane at this very moment. And Toxic Attraction has definitely had some big-time matches ever since their debut here in NXT, with the help of Mandy Rose as well. Uh-oh. Gigi Dolan helping out JC Jane. Oh! Big kick underneath the belt there to JC Jane. I don't think that's to cause a possible disqualification of anything. Big clothesline from JC Jane. Can JC Jane capitalize on this momentum? Certainly needs it right now. She was going for the double hooked arms of something there. I don't know what she was going with. She's able to get all of that, though. Big spinning kick to the dome. Is that enough? Yes, it is. JC Jane knocks off Nikita Lyons here on NXT. Certainly a big win for JC Jane. That gives Toxic Attraction the win tonight and the momentum. Look at this jumping kick to the face. I don't know if she more of a knee strike or an actual kick to the face, but nonetheless very, very effective. A heck of a showing there from JC Jane. The numbers game comes in the favor of Toxic Attraction. But now we have to get ready for your big-time main event between Wardlow and the NXT champion CM Punk. One of the biggest matches in Wardlow's career in the main event of NXT as he challenges NXT champion CM Punk. This is a non-title matchup, but for Wardlow, he was out for a good while, but he's back here in NXT, part of the Blackpool Combat Club still. And with that being said, that's four massive dudes in Blackpool Combat Club. You got Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, Cesaro, and this man right here, Wardlow. Wardlow has been very impressive ever since joining the NXT roster, including an F10 to the Big Show, with wins over the likes of Chris Jericho, with the likes of the Big Show. And I'd certainly love to see where Wardlow is going to be going in the near future. The Blackpool Combat Club. You know, Blackpool Combat Club have been dominating here on NXT with the likes of already having the NXT North American Championship and the NXT Tag Team Championships. So certainly, if it continues to go that way, don't be surprised if they have maybe in the near future an NXT Championship or maybe even the United Kingdom Championship. Anything is very well possible. You don't want to put anything past them, but tonight Wardlow has to put on the biggest match of his career, and with one of the best here in NXT and quite possibly one of the best in all of WWE, that being Mr. CM Punk. CM Punk has held that championship ever since NXT TakeOver in Your House. At that pay-per-view was Braun Breaker, NXT champion, taking on Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes would defeat Braun Breaker. After Carmelo Hayes would win that matchup, CM Punk would cash in his ability to have an NXT championship at any place, anytime he wanted, and he would use it at that time. CM Punk and Carmelo Hayes would go back and forth for a little bit, but CM Punk would ultimately walk out with that championship around his waist. And CM Punk mocking Shawn Michaels there, who's the Raw general manager. But CM Punk has been, for the most part, really good as your world champion here on NXT. But will he meet his maker? Will he lose that NXT championship here coming up this Saturday? Or once again, will he defeat the best of the best that NXT has to offer? We're about to find out how he fares against Wardlow here. CM Punk and Wardlow. Here, referee rings the bell. Here we go. CM Punk and Wardlow. CM Punk needs this win right now, especially against this up-and-coming superstar Wardlow. I mentioned he's had some big wins, but imagine for Wardlow, he's able to knock off the NXT champion CM Punk, how that would do for his career. Wardlow's certainly rising here on NXT, but, you know, you don't want a superstar to over-rise or arrive too fast to their destination. But, you know, anything is possible. And big back suplex there, especially right on that arm. That does more damage to the back and the arm because it's more power and more weight on that arm. Wardlow coming out of this gate right after the NXT champion, keeping the NXT champion on his toes. And if I was Punk, I would try to do vice versa, keep Wardlow on his toes. But, you know, Wardlow, the younger superstar, he's definitely watched plenty of CM Punk matches over the years. Oh, big jumping knee strike. That's vintage CM Punk right there. I have not seen that in a good while, but polishing it out here tonight. And now it's time for Wardlow to get himself back in this matchup, dominating this matchup for the most part. Uh-oh. Wardlow. The Warhorse looking to fly, but no. The Warhorse deciding not to. And now, here comes Wardlow. Oh, big punch to the dome. And now just a big old scoop slam just to slow down Wardlow. That's all you gotta do.
Oh, look at this. Just cranking the head. That's gotta hurt.
And now this is what Punk needs to do. Get in his own little world right now. Slow down the big man if you have to. Work on the legs, work on the arms. I know it kind of sounds conventional, but in this type of matchup you have to, because you have a championship defense in less than a couple days. And now CM Punk with a suicide dive taking down Wardlow. Wardlow is in trouble now. You do not want a fired up CM Punk. Referee already a 3, but Punk doesn't care. He's gonna take his time with Wardlow. Why not? Fucking some more damage to the outside. Oh, big kick there from Wardlow into a Hurricane Rana. The big man can certainly move fast when he wants to. And Wardlow doing the right thing, rolling back into the ring. Don't want to have a count-out victory. I mean, count-out victory still counts, but for Wardlow. He wants to have a decisive win over a man like CM Punk that's been very, very cocky. You can't beat a man like CM Punk or have a count-out victory. You wouldn't hear the last of it, is what I'm trying to say, if Wardlow would win by count-out. Definitely would not hear the last of it. And now Punk. Big haymakers to the big man. Certainly not going to be feeling too good. Pinfall opportunity. Will this be enough? But a strong kick out. Punk's going to have to pull out some big maneuvers if he wants to knock off Wardlow. If you're having betting odds, yes, you would say CM Punk wins this matchup, but you cannot say anything bad about Wardlow in the terms of what this young stud can do. Like I mentioned before, and I'll mention it again, big wins over Jericho, Big Show, and many other wrestlers here on NXT. So, having a win over CM Punk definitely will help you in your young career. It's now Punk. Has him on the top rope. CM Punk maybe looking for the Pepsi plunge from up top, but Wardlow with a key reversal here. And now Wardlow going for the axe handle, misses out. And now Punk. Can Punk capitalize after he wasn't able to connect with the Pepsi plunge? Yes, he does. Michinoku driver. And now Punk. High risk, high reward situation. They're looking for that Macho Man elbow drop right to the chest. Is that going to be it? 2. No, Wardlow with a strong kick out at 2.5. CM Punk cannot believe it. But now Punk wants to end this right here, right now. He's going to try to torque his left arm, maybe to try to get it to pick him up easier, but no. Kidney punches from Wardlow. Keeps Wardlow in the matchup a little bit longer. Here we go, pinfall opportunity, referee right there in position, but a strong kick out from Punk. Not going to go down without a fight. Wardlow has him up. Release powerbomb. Certainly, that could be enough. 2, but no, Punk with another strong kick out. And Wardlow, the frustration is brewing for this young man. And Wardlow, he's allowing that frustration to get to him. He's outside, yelling at himself, presumably. And now he's just gonna taunt CM Punk, try to even get the crowd behind him. But now Punk, springboard clothesline, turning Wardlow inside out. Punk trying to pull out all the stops right now. And now CM Punk. Big kicks. Try to slow down Wardlow, try to take the breath out of him. What can CM Punk do? I mean, he wasn't able to hit the GTS earlier on. He was able to connect with the Macho Man elbow drop. Big time super kick catching him off guard. And now Punk. Is he thinking about another elbow drop? Yes, he is. Gonna look to hit it again. Best in the world elbow drop. Right there to the chest. Is this it? 2, 3 it is. It wasn't the most beautiful win today, but it certainly gets the job done. And CM Punk with a massive win over Wardlow tonight in your main event tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this massive main event. CM Punk picks up a much needed win. How will CM Punk fare against Jericho, where the NXT Championship will be on the line at the Great American Bash this Saturday live? Look who it is. It is the #1 contender, Chris Jericho, coming out here. Are we about to see a brawl between Jericho and CM Punk? Stuff is about to go down here. CM Punk, Chris Jericho, face to face before their big time championship match coming up in just a couple days time. Jericho, CM Punk, World Championship is on the line. 2 of the best in the world go at it, but only one can be your NXT champion.